How and welcome back to another episode of Ignite Your Power, the Kathy Mount podcast. This episode is the two-part series to my first episode, solo episode actually, for Endometriosis Awareness Month. The month of March is for endometriosis, and so I like to spread awareness about this disease. And if you've been following along about my journey, you know this is a topic that is deeply personal to me. And so in my last solo episode, I shared my personal journey, the years of being dismissed, the pain, the infertility struggles, and ultimately how I reclaimed my power. But this episode is all about you, what you need to know about endometriosis, how to recognize the symptoms, busting common myths, and most importantly, how to advocate for yourself. Because here's the truth, too many people are suffering in silence. Too many doctors are dismissing symptoms, and too many of us have been told that excruciating pain is just part of being a woman. But we're changing that narrative today, so let's dive in. But before we get into the topic, I like to introduce myself for all the new listeners. I'm Kathy, your host. I'm an empowerment coach, and I teach people how to ignite their power by living the BS life, aka the bliss saw life. So if you're used to living a very hard life full of resistance, fear, overwhelm, anxiety, I'm here to tell you you can live life differently. Exact opposite, where life will be so much easier, softer, more blissful because I give you the tools to live that way. I'll teach you how to live that way because you know my me and my journey, my life has always been so hard, and I thought that everything in life had to be hard in order to obtain or get what you want, especially earning money. And most of us have this problem or issue, so it's not uncommon. And I like to help people get out of this full of anxiety, hardship mentality and shift it into a bliss of life. So part of that was through my endometriosis journey, and me following my life path was because of this hardship of what I had to deal with through infertility, later getting diagnosis with endometriosis, and then leading me into my life purpose and being here on this podcast and now sharing the tools, tips, everything that I've learned throughout the years into this podcast episode. So you don't want to miss it. All right. So what is endometriosis? First things first. Endometriosis is a chronic inflammatory disease where tissue similar to the uterine lining grows outside the uterus. It can be found on the ovaries, fallopian tubes, bladder, intestines, and in rare cases, even the lungs or brain. It's not just a bad period. It's a full body disease that impacts the immune system, nervous system, and even gut health. So the common symptoms include severe pelvic pain, so before, during, or after periods, pain during sex, bowel movements or urination, chronic fatigue, bloating, and digestive issues such as endobelly, right? So if you've ever had endometriosis, you've had endobelly where you just look pregnant and you're just like, what the heck? Wow. And then I just said endoflares because you will have these flare-ups in your body, especially in your abdomen area, where it literally feels like it's inflamed and you can't move, you can't do anything. And so if you've had that feeling, you may probably have endometriosis. And last but not least, endometriosis can cause infertility or difficulty conceiving, which happened to me. Yep. And so, yet, despite affecting 1 in 10 women, actually, I think the stats are changing now. It might be 1 in 7 or 1 in 8. So it's more common than what it says. And it takes an average of 7 to 10 years to get diagnosed as well, because Society has normalized period pain to the point where we're told to just take an Advil and push through it. So, a lot of doctors also are uneducated about diagnosing endometriosis because women's health is not taught in med school. So, this is why a lot of the doctors and the Western medicine are not do not know about endometriosis and are not familiarized with it. And so this is why a lot of us get dismissed about our symptoms. But I believe that endometriosis is getting more and more common and spoken about. And I love how the endometriosis community has so many amazing advocates and educating people about it. So it's easier to detect now more so than like 5 years ago. Even like 4 years ago when I first got my diagnosis in 2021. It's 2025, and I feel like there's such a bigger shift than back then. But let's be clear though. Let's be really clear about debilitating pain. It's not normal, okay? So if you're having painful periods or heavy flow or lots of blood clots, that is not normal. Telling you now. I thought it was normal because my mom had it, my twin sister had that issue, and so everybody around me was saying, "You're fine, you're fine, you're fine." And so I believed that, and I thought that was the norm. But now being educated in women's health and meeting all these hormonal health coaches and, just educating myself, empowering myself because knowledge is power, guys, that I know that periods should not be like long 7 days. I had 7 days, and then I had heavy flows from like 3 to 4 heavy flow days, and then it would like kind of get less and less. Okay, now that I've been taking care of my body, I only have 3 days of period. It is insane. It is so different. I thought that could never be the norm. So I have one heavy flow day, and then I have a medium flow day, and then the last day it's gone. And then no period. Like what? But we have to educate ourselves. We have to know. And so missing work or school because of your period pain also is not normal, guys. So if you're missing any type of, yeah, normalcy in your life due to having period pains, it may be endometriosis. And last but not least, if your pain is affecting your life, it's time to dig deeper and to understand why. So again, if you know in your gut feeling that something is not right, please follow it. Please go dig. Please go figure that out. And I knew this was not normal. So in my early days, in my teens, when I first got my period, I had heavy flows. It was just so embarrassing having like thick, long pads getting filled up within an hour and then leaking all over the chairs. And middle school is already hard. And you having to deal with that in your teens with no real education about it is so tough. So I don't want anybody right now listening having their kids go through that, or even you going through missing your daily normalcy because of these period pains or an endo flare or having chronic fatigue or severe pain that's not normal. And I just want to educate you as much as possible. And hopefully, you actually heard the previous episode with my guest, Katie Edmonds. She wrote the book Heal Endo. So if you have not checked out that episode, please do so. Or even get her book because it is so educational. Like, she breaks up endometriosis in the most easiest dissectable way for you to understand such a complex thing that endometriosis is. And so you should go get that book as well. All right, so now let's bust some common myths because unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Okay, so trust me, when I was on my journey to understanding endometriosis, it's a lot. First of all, you don't even know what that is and what that means, and then there's so many different terms, and endometriosis is being researched and all these terms, and you have people saying you shouldn't say this or that or this or that, right? It's just a lot. It's a lot. But I wanted to give you some of my myths, and misinformation that I've learned and that I want to bust right now. So myth number one is birth control cures endometriosis. First off, there is no cures for endometriosis. Okay. You can put your endometriosis in remission, which Heal Endo teaches you how to do, that book, Katie Edmonds. So my endometriosis is in remission, but birth control does not. It just masks certain symptoms so you don't feel your endometriosis. So, and mind you, this is not for everybody, right? Everybody has different symptoms. So for me, when I took birth control, so I took it for 10 years, a whole decade. This is why I was so out of sync with my body, with my whole entire feminine energy, everything about me for a whole decade, until I empowered myself through infertility, right? I had to understand periods and my flow, how to eat nutrient-dense foods to help with my body, etc. But it masked the pain that I had. And I was like, oh, it feels so good. But later on, of course, birth control has a lot of side effects and it causes a lot of infertility issues, so, which is for me, right? The Western medicine or the doctors and hospitals, etc. Nowadays in the Western medicine, they just give every women problem or women issues birth control. Like, here you go, birth control, like it's candy. Like, bro, it is not candy. It is so bad for us women. It actually just masks your symptoms and makes you believe that you're ovulating, and then it's just like such an artificial, unhealthy way to have a PMS. Okay, so birth control can suppress symptoms, like I said, but it's just a temporary fix for some of us. And sometimes some women even take birth control and still feel the pain. So it is not a cure. So if you feel like birth control is not doing something for you, please stop taking it. Please start finding other avenues to really help figure out what the core issue is and what's causing that pain or inflammation in your body. Okay, myth number two, pregnancy cures endometriosis. Yeah, I heard about this too. Like, hey, once you get pregnant and once you have a kid, you're not going to have endometriosis again. No, that is absolutely wrong. Endometriosis will always be with you or within you if you've had it before. So some people experience symptom relief during pregnancy, but endo will always come back after birth because it is driven by inflammation, not just hormones. Okay, so pregnancy does not cure. And some people still have endometriosis pain during pregnancy. So again, it's all an individualized thing. Myth number three, hysterectomy cures endometriosis. So endometriosis grows outside the uterus, meaning removing the uterus does not necessarily remove the disease. In fact, some people still experience pain post-hysterectomy. Okay, and in the endo community, I've seen so many women get these procedures or get offered these procedures. This huge procedure, by the way, is a big one. Okay. And yeah, it doesn't cure it. It doesn't, it may help some women. Again, it's individualized, but I've seen a lot of women get hysterectomies, which they shouldn't have. Because again, like I said, Western medicine and doctors are not taught about this disease. So think about it. If they don't even know or are not even aware of it, how would they help you and give you the best suggestion? So my suggestion for you, if someone's asking you or telling you to get a hysterectomy and you have this gut feeling that that's not right, follow that, please. Don't just put all your power in these doctors. Please bring your power back to yourself so you can make the right and most perfect choice for you. And maybe it's not going to be perfect either, but only you will make the best decision for yourself. And, you don't want to regret anything also. So just educate yourself, please. A lot of women have gotten these hysterectomies and just feel so terrible after. And like I said, you should listen to the last episode with Katie Edmonds because she touched upon why some women don't feel good after they get a laparoscopy or hysterectomy. It's because their body is so inflamed. They do this big procedure, and then their body doesn't have the capacity to actually heal itself after post-surgery. So there's a lot of education that needs to be taught. There's a lot of education that needs to be learned about. And so that's why empowering yourself is so important. So you can make the best decision for yourself. Okay, myth number 4, painful periods are normal. Like I said in the beginning, it is not. Listen, if your period pain isn't interfering with your daily life, that's a red flag. You deserve answers, not dismissal. So keep finding your answers. Okay? And trust me, I've been dismissed so many times, and I had an endo flare. If you listened to my story last 2 weeks ago, you will understand what I went through, how I got dismissed, and knowing that in my gut feeling, I knew I had endometriosis. And finally, I did get my diagnosis, which made me understand my body more, and which helped me empower myself to do the right research to find the right resources to help me better myself. And now I'm so thankful I only have 3 days of period. And I'm telling you, you can do this. Anybody can do this work if you really want it for yourself. So this is why empowering yourself is so important. And if you want to work with me one-on-one to figure out how to empower yourself to make sure you do the right choices or make the right choices for yourself, please book a free empowerment call. Like I will put in the show notes below, or just comment empowerment and I'll send you my calendar so we can book that in. So you can feel better, so you can change your life. Like you don't have to live this way. This is why I'm so passionate about this work, because I've done everything. I've tried everything. And then now I want to give this knowledge out to other people so they don't have to go through all the hardships and all the research and all this stuff to do what I've learned, making your life easier. Let's talk about how to advocate for yourself. So say like you've been getting dismissed, or right, like you're used to giving your power to the doctors and relying on everything that they say. You had to learn to know that doctors don't know everything. And now I've told you that the Western medicine do not teach people about endometriosis. Why would you trust in their word? Oh, unless they're like specialists, like literally endometriosis excision surgeon specialists. Those are the most well-known people that really understand endometriosis and how complex it is, because surgeons really know the complexities of the whole disease and how to take it out, how to give you relief from the pain, right? They understand a lot of that. So please do your research on a doctor too. And regular OBGYN, it will not understand you as well. They're not specialized enough, unfortunately. So it needs to hit that mark. So there's like a general doctor, then you would see an OBGYN, which still does not know, and then you would see your surgeon. And then it's not just any surgeon, right? It's an excision specialist surgeon. That's what you need to look for. And so those are two big things that you need to know. And last but not least, the two different surgeries that you can get, they're laparoscopies, but the methods that they use to get the endometriosis out are two different things. So there's ablation and there's excision. So ablation is pretty much where they burn the endometriosis lesions out, but you don't want that. You actually want the excision where it's like plucking the endo out, like getting from the root and getting it out, right? And so you want that if you could get a laparoscopy. And I know there's way more resources out there to find if there's in within your insurance, or to see if there are excision specialists near you. But yeah, just want to make sure that you understand that. And excision surgery right now is actually the gold standard. But also, surgery doesn't mean that everybody needs it too, by the way. So there are different stages of endometriosis as well. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's pretty crazy how someone with stage 1 can feel so much more pain than someone with a stage 4 endometriosis and not feel pain, right? Everybody is so different. And there's like so many types of endometriosis as well, like endometrial cells that grow, and that's why it's so complex. It's Katie Edmonds does a good job about interpreting it and understanding it from like a cancer point of view. She says it's pretty similar to cancer cells, so there's endometrial cells, and so they kind of work the same way. And so it's very fascinating to understand this complex type of disease. Maybe surgery is not the way to do it, and you can do holistic things to help with your symptoms. You can also do that too. And right now, I've only had one laparoscopy in my life with the excision specialist surgeon. Thank goodness I got it out. And then I got the right help, right? But with that though, to maintain and be in remission with endometriosis, it's the holistic lifestyle that I've practiced and implemented in my daily life so I can be healthy. And I did the laparoscopy in 2021 and it's 2025 now. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 4 years without it. So think about that too. There's a lot of women that may need to do surgery within the same year, 2 in 1 year. That's not good, ladies. Like, seriously, get to the root cause because sometimes if surgery is not working, look for something else, right? Just keep searching for answers. If you shall seek, you will find it. Okay? And that's what I did. I was seeking and I found answers. And if you're seeking and you want answers from me, please book that call. I have answers. I may not have all the answers, but maybe it's the answer that you need. But okay, let's get back to how to advocate yourself. So one of the hardest things about endometriosis is getting doctors to take you seriously. So how do you advocate for yourself when the medical system keeps gaslighting you? And they do this because they're not educated, unfortunately. So one thing you could do is track your symptoms, keep a pain journal, document how often it happens, the severity, and how it affects your daily life. Second is come prepared. Bring your notes, research, and specific questions when you visit the doctor. Don't let them dismiss you. And if you say you have endometriosis, keep digging, keep asking questions, and keep saying, why not? Why can't it be endometriosis? Make them question themselves and try to direct you to the right people that you need to know and get to, right? Third thing, find a specialist. Not all OBGYNs are trained in endometriosis, like I said. So look for an excision specialist, not just a general gynecologist, for proper diagnosis and treatment. Number 4, know your options. The gold standard for treatment is excision surgery, which I told you about earlier. So not ablation, okay? Ablation burns the surface of the lesions, but excision removes them at the root. And most importantly, trust yourself. If a doctor dismisses you, find another one. Your pain is real, you're not crazy, and you deserve answers. So please go and take your power back because that's your choice. And maybe think about it in this way too. The medical system is a business. Think about it. If you don't give them business, then bye, right? It's your choice. It's where you choose to go with. And if you trust them, great. If you don't, bye, right? Trust your instincts. Follow your gut feeling. And if this person literally is not listening to you and just keeps dismissing, then just know that they're not the right doctor for you. They're not the right person, and it's okay. Move on. But maybe this person is not educated and they're willing to learn and work with you. Okay, see how it goes, right? So every situation is going to be different, but how are you going to handle that? You need to empower yourself to handle it, right? Okay, what can you do to take control of this complex disease? So endometriosis is very complex, like I said, And there are things we can do to support our bodies like on a daily basis. While there's no cure yet, small changes can make a big difference, like holistic things. So, nutrition and inflammation. So, many with endo find relief by reducing inflammatory foods like dairy, gluten, processed sugars. Anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens, berries, and omega-3s can help. And I love to touch upon nutrition because I believe food is medicine. So right now, our world or the Western medicine is all about taking pills, taking medication. But what if, just being curious, right? We can just eat healthier and feed our body the nutrients and minerals we need to function better. So think of it on a cellular level that your cells need certain minerals and nutrients to be the healthiest it can be. And if you have endometrial cells, they're not healthy. They're like attacking you, right? It's like causing lots of disruption inside your body. So you need to feed your body healthy things, nutrients and minerals, so your healthy cells can act and like get rid of what's not needed in your body. So food is a huge thing. And this is why I feel like eating and focusing on your nutrients and minerals is so important. And a lot of us just focus on the surgeries, the medications, like all these outer things. But how about the inner things? What are you feeding your inner body to function at its optimal health? So that's a huge part that has helped me. And I've been on the bean protocol since November. And that's how I got my body to go from 7 days of period to just three, just by eating healthier. Like your body's telling you all the time, it's screaming for nutrients, it's screaming for minerals that it needs, right? But are you listening to it? Are you in tune to what your body's telling you? Most of us aren't, unfortunately. Okay, the next thing that we need to do and focus on is our stress and nervous system healing. So, chronic pain triggers the nervous system. So, finding ways to calm your body, like meditation, breath work, or even gentle movement, can help reduce flares. And think about it, if we're in chronic inflammation, it could be due to having a lot of cortisol in our bodies. And it's like these extra hormones that we do not need. And cortisol makes your body believe you're in fight and flight, like you're running from a cheetah or you're running from something. But we live in a fast-paced world where our brain is always triggered to like be on alert mode all the time. And your body's working so hard to try to like to keep you safe, but it actually does a lot of nervous system damage in the long run to be in fight and flight mode all the time. This is why when you have endometriosis, you need to really tap into your stress levels to calm yourself. So breath work, meditation, gentle movement is so good for you. And it's funny because I believe when we're diagnosed with a disease or endometriosis like this, I believe that this is a life lesson or a soul lesson that we needed to come here on earth to learn is to do a lot of self-love and self-care because we have not done that. And so if you're not loving yourself enough, then your body's going to scream at you and do some weird stuff, right? And so we're here to give our body loves, to give our time and self some time to get loved. And that's what I've learned so far in my journey with endometriosis. But we're still not done yet. Okay, there's other things that you can look into to take control. Gut and hormone health, honestly. Endometriosis is linked to gut health and estrogen dominance, so supporting digestion and reducing exposure to endocrine disruptors like BPA and artificial fragrances can be beneficial. And our gut health, 90% of women who have endometriosis have gut issues because it's linked. Everything is linked within our body. And so if you have gut issues, so say so people who are like, oh, I have IBS and all these things, it's because they're all linked within your gut. And so I used to have this when I had period pain and when I had PMS or when it was the time of the month, I would go to the bathroom a lot more often because it's connected. And it's both because your gut health is off. This is why I say we need to really tap into our bodies and to look at and listen to it all the time. And this is what I help my clients do is to really get to know their bodies and to listen to themselves and to take their power back on a basic level, which a lot of us are so out of tune with. And I truly believe that cutting out certain things will help regulate your body. And so, like I said, these endocrine disruptors really can expose you to um, your body to work harder, right? Because these are not natural things. So, artificial fragrances and BPA, like you don't want these toxins in your body because endometriosis, we store actually 10 times more toxins than other people. It's harder for us to release it. And so this is why I love the bean protocol because the beans of the fiber helps actually take out the toxins of your body and get it out of you. But there are other ways to do that to support your body too, like with liver function and to do more holistic health things as well. But learning from the basics is so important and that a lot of us don't understand. And so I like to teach people from the basics, and then you can get more and more complex as you learn more and more and you empower yourself more and more. Okay, and last but not least, what you can do to take control is mindset and emotional healing. So this disease, it doesn't just affect the body, it takes a mental and emotional toll too. So learning to listen to your body, practice self-compassion, and prioritize rest is so important. And mindset, right? It's all about your mindset in the end. That's why I said I want to empower you. So if you feel like you're a victim of this disease and that this disease is taking over you, it's gonna do that, right? But you're like, how about if you're on the other side and you're like, no, F that. I'm not gonna let this disease overtake me. I'm gonna go and make sure that I can live the most normal lifestyle with this disease. That's your mindset. You can do that. And that's what I did. Okay. I'm not saying I was not on the other side, right? Through infertility, I was in victim mentality. Like, ah, I hate my life and life sucks and blah, blah, right? Making all these excuses. And then when I was so sick of being like that, I was like, no, I'm not gonna let this disease like let me dictate my life. Like, forget it. I hate that feeling. Started to empower myself, learn, do all these things, and then I got the results that I wanted. So I want to let you know that you have the choice and you got to work on your mindset. It's so important. It's a piece of that. It's really a piece of how your mind works and how you get your mind to work and believe so you can get the outcome you want. And our emotions kind of dictate what we do, right? So say if you're sad, sulking, you're less likely to do stuff. But if you're happy, you're more determined and energetic, you're going to have that energy to go towards your passions and help other and be more kind. So like our emotions are so important. And if you're in this state of like anxiety, hate, frustration, well, guess what? Your mindset is going to be like, oh, I hate life and everything's against me. And then what? You're through that mindset, your body is going to be like, dude, this person's in stress mode. Ah, let's make more hormones. Let's make more cortisol. And then it's going to disrupt your gut and hormone health. And then you're going to have inflammation and then you're going to have more endometriosis developing. Like, do you see how it just starts from the basic and it can just spiral out and then it could just make your symptoms worse and worse? Isn't that crazy? So, I hope this episode like really brought some type of clarity or basics to your knowledge and to open your mind to what I see so that you can change and shift your life because I feel like this was so important to just educate women on just a very basic level, on the cellular level as well, right? It always comes back to the basics. How are you taking care of the basics first? And if it's not stable, how do you think other things are going to stack up with it? It's going to be unstable. It's going to shake. So just think of it that way. If you have a great basis, foundation to go off of, everything in your life will be more balanced and you're going to be able to stack more and more into your life. So just food for thought. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode, it's that your pain is real. I hear you. I've been there. You are not alone. You don't have to do this alone. The endometriosis community is amazing, and I'm here to support you. And you deserve answers and proper care. We all do. We all deserve the minimum basics. That's what I truly believe. And so, for those of you listening who have been dismissed by doctors who are fighting this battle every day, I see you, I hear you, and I'm right here with you. I just want to take a moment to say if you're struggling with endometriosis, you are not alone. I know how isolating this journey can feel, but please know that your pain is real, your experience is valid, and you deserve proper care. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear this message. The more we talk about endometriosis, the more awareness we create and the closer we get to real change. If you want to continue this conversation, connect with me on Instagram, YouTube, or join my community, Blissful Beauties Ascend. I'm here to support you, whether it's through coaching, card readings, or just holding space for you. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, and for advocating for yourself. Keep trusting your body, keep speaking up, and keep igniting your power. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next episode. Love you. Bye.